We were called to this home where David Glatzel, a young 11-year-old boy, had come under diabolical possession.
Hey guys, it's Brittany and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're brand new, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your bell so you will be notified every single time that I upload. I upload every single week, numerous times a week, every single week. So, The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Who's seen it? I just saw it last night and I wanted to see it before I made this video. Guys, I think that was my favorite one. Now today's video, it's not a movie review, so there won't be any spoilers, but I definitely recommend watching The Conjuring 3 before you watch this video, because in this video, we are getting into the actual real-life case of Arnie Johnson, demonic possession case of Arnie Johnson, which is what The Conjuring 3 is all about. And this case is specifically known as The Devil Made Me Do It, which is why it's called The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, or The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. So let's get into it. Now, they actually changed his name in the movie, so his name was not Alan Bono, his name was Bruno Sauls. Now, the trial of Arnie Johnson is the first known court case in US history where demonic possession was used to try to prove the innocence. Because there was a man that was murdered, he was stabbed to death. So, months prior to the murder, Arnie's girlfriend Debbie, her younger brother, was experiencing demonic activity. Not just demonic activity, he was freaking possessed, and his whole family was suffering with this. They were trying to get him help. They were experiencing everything that you experience when someone is possessed. But that right there was how this all began. That is where all this paranormal demonic activity started.
What exactly is the Brookfield slaying case about?
Well, it has to do with the possession of an 11-year-old boy. We were called in on the case by a Roman Catholic priest who at that time was pastor of St. Joseph's Church in Brookfield. He had told us that we had his prayer support, but he was rather fearful of becoming any further involved in the case. He was getting ready to leave for Ireland with his mother and was fearful because of the fact that he had fallen victim as a result of exercising a home that he was called upon to exercise in New Fairfield through then Archbishop Curtis. And so he said, "You have my support, and I realize it is most likely a case of possession, but unfortunately I won't be able to work with you." We were called to this home where David Glatzel, a young 11-year-old boy, had come under diabolical possession. It all began to take place in a home that his sister and the sister's fiance were renting. They were going to be renting this house, and on the end of it was like an in-law apartment where Arnie Johnson's mother was going to be living with the two sisters. It was in that home that David first exhibited signs of possession. It was rather strange and rather bizarre what occurred. It was a bright afternoon, bright summer afternoon, and they were setting up things in the apartment, and Mrs. Glatzel, Judy Glatzel, was helping. Now, the previous occupants had left behind a waterbed, and kids are drawn to things like that, 11 years old especially, and they're jumping on the bed, jumping up and down on the bed. And the other children went in the other room. And as David went to get up off the bed, he described this man as appearing. He could see everything about the man, the plaid shirt that he was wearing, the jeans that he had on. Could see everything about him. He could describe everything about him. Now, David would find it very hard to articulate to that extent David had a very slight learning disability, and usually children with learning disabilities find it very hard to articulate regarding seeing things in that type of perspective that he was explaining it in so much clarity. Now, he told his mother at this point that he wanted to go right home. And the mother said, no, we're working, we're finishing off what we're going to be doing. We'll be going home in a little while. Well, he pouted, walked out of the house. He was frightened. And that night, in their home in Brookfield, it appeared again. Only when it appeared that night, in the darkness of the evening, he described this man as appearing. Everything was exactly the same, except that he said the man looked burnt, and he had feet like a deer, which meant they were cloven. And from that
keep in mind that the man that she's talking about is a ghost. You know, there was no man there.
Right.
And we were to later find out that this was not even a ghost. It was a demonic spirit
that appeared to this child. That was really the introduction to his becoming a victim of diabolical possession.
Now, David's family were trying so hard to help him, to get him help, and Ed and Lorraine came in, of course, and there were actually 3 exorcisms that were performed on David. When Ed and Lorraine were at the house during these exorcisms trying to help this family, Ed said that he heard growling sounds coming from the basement. He saw a rocking chair move on its own. He heard this really dark, evil voice telling him that they're all going to die in that house. Lorraine saw a black mist appear beside David as Ed was interviewing him. And this is when they're just evaluating him, you know? And then David felt invisible hands choking him. He had red marks appear all over him. So it's just craziness, just boom, boom, boom. All the symptoms of demonic possession, but just times 100. David was hissing, he was growling at them, he was speaking in very odd, deep, demonic, unrecognizable voices. And of course, during the exorcisms, David's family were all present, so they were witnessing everything. Now, Arnie Johnson, he told the demon, when the demon, of course, was, possessing David, to leave him alone and to take him instead. And that is exactly what happened. So the day of the murder, there was an argument, a confrontation between Arnie and Alan, which then led Arnie to stab Alan repeatedly to death. And he had wounds, stab wounds, all in his chest area. He was growling like an animal, like it just wasn't him. Arnie is not violent. He doesn't have a criminal history, a criminal record. It was just so out of character. So Ed and Lorraine, they believed that this was the case of demonic possession, and it was not Arnie who was stabbing. It was the demon taking over the body of Arnie and committing this crime. And this case just gained so much media attention. Now, what I find interesting is in 2007, Ed and Lorraine were being sued by David Glatzel and Carl Glatzel Jr. And they were suing the Warrens for profiting off of this story. So Carl says that his brother David was mentally ill during the time of his possession. And he accused Ed and Lorraine for making up the story for money and fame. But Arnie and Debbie, they say that the Warrens' claims are true and that David and Carl are just trying to make money. So, who do you believe? Do you believe that this story was all made up for money and fame? Or was there really a demon that was attached to David and then eventually transferred to Arnie, which then took over Arnie's body, which then made him murder Alan by stabbing him to death repeatedly? But let me know your thoughts down below. Now, getting into The Conjuring 3, the devil made me do it. I'm not going to get into spoilers because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I feel like everybody was watching it this weekend. You know what freaked me out? But I know there's gonna be some people who haven't seen the movie who are still gonna continue watching. So I'm not gonna say what this thing is that freaked me out in the movie, but this freaked me out so much. I'm just gonna reenact it for you because I love reenacting. It's so much fun. So this scared me. I need to get high heels though. I'm gonna change into high heels. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, action. Oh wait, hold on. Action. Her. What the f? She scared me. It's just the sound of her walking. Just. Oh, I look freaky. But that's my little reenactment for the day. I don't know. I kind of want to be her for Halloween. I think she's gonna be a popular Halloween costume. But anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Oh, one more thing, actually. Between you and me, I got a huge crush on Arnie. Not the actual guy. I'm talking about the actor. He is fine. I'm just saying. So, just putting that out into the universe. The Conjuring universe. And he's a Cancer. I already looked him up. Yes, I did. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? I think I hurt someone.